Welcome to Wizard Team, a Black magical podcast for Black magical stories.
Hi everyone, it's Bayana, Robyn, and Porshèa embarking on a journey through the many fantasy stories written by and about Black people. Today, we're wrapping up our discussion of Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn.
So, as we do in these book wrap-ups, we're going to start with some games. Our favorite Legend-born themed game, Squire Page Banish, is where we're starting. And just like, the Marry Cuddle Exterminate game that BNC has made famous, the FMK game that other people know. We are going to have 3 characters from the book, and we will all decide if we will have them squire with us, which means that they're going to be like at our side, our number 2 ride or die. They'll page, which is like they're an acquaintance. We see them, we run in the same circles, but we don't gotta, we can avoid each other if we have to, or we just gotta be cordial. And then banish is then like, get out of here. We don't want to see you anymore. So that's how the game goes. And the first category is the lieges. We're going to start this. This is going to be, I think, this is the easiest one we're going to have.
Mm-hmm.
Jonas, Samira, or Gil? Squire, Page, Banish. What you doing? Who's first?
Yeah, I feel like Samira, Squire, Gil, Page, and Jonas exterminate, banish.
I mean, he did get exterminated.
I feel like, yeah,
He did that to himself,
he did
though.
get exterminated.
And that's the funniest part.
Yeah.
He chose that for himself.
And I'm not even really mad at, like, I do think that part of, like, his, like, of the story of, like, learning about, like, I thought that was important for Bree to, like, deal with and to see, you know what I mean? But I don't really need
to be
somebody
honest,
with that much baggage on my team, not gonna lie.
To be honest, like, compared to other anti-Bree characters in the book, at least he was, like, not fighting his consequences of his actions, you know what I mean? Not trying to skirt around. He said, "Yeah,
I feel
you gotta go. I hate that it's you."
I empathize with him, but he's in a group of rioters.
Yeah, he gotta die. I mean,
he's gotta go.
I said this one is probably the easiest category or the easiest one we're gonna come up against, the easiest choice, because same. Squire went to Samira. I'm rocking with Gil because Gil's rocking with us, and Jonas gotta go.
I doubt you had a different choice, but what are your choices, Porshèa?
It's unanimous. Yeah, who are we to stand in the way of Jonas and his decision? You know, he chose to go out that way. That's how he slipped on his sword that way. That's what he wanted to do. I'm gonna let the man do what he wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he don't want to be here. That's fine.
He don't want to be saved. Don't save him.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I feel like Samira too, just in terms of like squiring. It's just like a different level of like understanding, and she also, gave them to the info to find Lucille.
Mm-hmm.
And without Samira, we wouldn't have met Valak. So that's the most important thing.
That's the most important thing. It's so funny, like things but when you put it when you say it that way, there's no, it's not even a question. All right, so we're moving on to the Cambion. Speaking of Valak, which of these Cambions would you Squire, Page, Banish? Valak, Cell, and Lark. I find this to be very difficult. I don't like.
So sorry.
This is a hard. This one's. It's harder and it's not. Like it's hard because I understand, like, especially from Robyn's perspective, like, so yeah, sure, whatever, but it's not that difficult.
I'm just like people who are watching people who are watching this live are seeing reactions. However, like, if you're just listening to this, I'm making the Thor is it squinty eyes because is it?
You guys are actually going to be really shocked by my choice, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, you say that, and now I'm like, maybe I won't be.
I think you will
like,
be.
Valak, Squire, Cell, Paige, and Lark has got to go. I love Lark. Lark is great, but up against two heavy hitters, there's not much he can do.
Okay, well, here I go.
And
listen,
go on.
If I have to Squire Valak, I have to banish Cell. And then have Lark Page.
Okay.
I can't have Cell is an all or nothing. Cell is an all or nothing, and I can't. Maybe I could like Squire Cell and then Page Valak, but then I'd be like, but why? But every time then Cell goes crazy, I'm gonna be looking at Valak like, why did I made the wrong choice, right? Because being in close proximity with Cell is just bad for your mentals.
Your nervous
you need a break.
System. It sounds like being in like that clip, that one of my favorite clips from Wizard Team, early years, whenever that conversation was happening about like being in proximity to Harry Potter, and it just feels like it's the same discussion, like being in proximity to Cell and Kane. Not that his energy brings upon the destruction, but the destruction is not very far from wherever he is.
Yeah.
Right. Trouble always seems to find him type situation.
And I do honestly feel like you cannot. It's much worse for the people who are who keep Cell at an arm's length. In a way, like if you are going to be like one of his people, if you're going to be close to him, you're going to be Bree, William, Nick. You know what it is, and you've accepted it wholeheartedly into your heart that this is just how it's going to be. And so there's like a resignation in that is freeing. Which is why I'm saying if I cannot Squire Cell, I have to banish.
No one said that you couldn't. What would this look like if you did make him your Squire then?
If I made him my Squire, then like I said, every time I'd be wanting to knock him upside his head, Valak is right there, and I'm like, oh, what could have been?
As Paige? So no matter what, you would banish Lark then?
I would banish Lark. I would have to, if I Squired Cell, I'd Page Valak and banish
You would
Lark.
banish Lark.
But I can't.
But because you're making Valak your Squire, Cell can't be your Page, is basically what you're saying.
Basically, Cell can't be my Page. And I just think that, like, in terms of, like, the totality of the characters, Valak is where Cell is going, right? But Valak's already there.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Is Valak where Cell and Kane is going?
We hope.
How?
We keep telling him to look at the material.
I don't think that's his trajectory. I'm pretty sure he's not gonna be that level of caring about contracts between demons and humans and making sure like he's still wrapped up in the propaganda about what demons are in the first place. I don't think we're gonna get there.
Well, if he gets it together.
I don't think that's how you know. I think he has to set his own path, and sadly, I don't think his temperament is going to allow for him to be anywhere near Valak. No.
Well, we'll see. I feel like Cell.
It's difficult.
I don't know. Yeah, I would want Valak on my side more than the rest of them. Feels.
But I just think y'all are gonna be miserable with Cella's Page.
But just I mean, Ari, like a Page, they don't really do.
Say who I was. Cell is not.
She said he's gotta go.
Can't be my squire. He just can't. He
can't be. Yeah. He can't be. I'm not saying that he should be, but I'm saying Cell as a page.
But I'm saying in the lineup, I don't even know. All I know for
he's
sure
not taking that
is that Valley is my page. I don't know enough about Lark to make a decision about if I should really be banishing Lark. Because of how much I know about Cell.
That's why he's banished, because it's like we don't know that much about him. He seems cool,
know but like what's going on over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Cell, I know too much about him and still not enough. So I guess it's just a big question mark for those positions.
Not an easy one.
No.
It's not an easy one.
The easiest part is for sure
it's Valak.
No question.
Valak. Exactly. Yeah.
It's
somebody you want on your side, and like
the only thing for sure about Valak I would like to ask him is like, how does it feel to be the kid that everyone wants on their team during kickball? You know?
Right.
Except Lucille.
I mean, that's one less
kid. And Mariah, maybe.
They'd be like, I guess.
Like, whatever team he's on, make sure you don't put me on there too. Just make sure you do that.
This is my great uncle, and he is annoying. Okay, so these? It just gets worse and worse.
This is a breeze for me.
Homies. Alice, William, and Nick. Porshèa, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, how temperaments align, Bestie William is going to be in that top spot, Squire. Yes. He has everything. He has if I'm gonna be hot-headed, that happens, and he's someone who's like, girl, shut up, like get it together. That's what you need. Right by your side. You like sometimes you need someone who will amp up, and he's also that. He's like, yo, if we in it, we in it, and that armor pops up. So that you need that energy, and he's a healer. He has so many good attributes of not only his personality and his skill set, and I really value that in a team player. He's shown himself to be that so many times. William has earned the Squire spot. Alice, great page. And especially like in like a team effort between myself and William, Alice, I feel like is also like that temperament of like, okay, we're vibing, might be a little bit too trigger happy, but we'll figure it out. And I think that's cool. Alice is great. Nick can kick rocks, and so that's why he's Spanish. And if I could banish him from the pages of time, perhaps I would.
Dang.
I did not see that coming.
That was a shocker. I've not made my feelings clear about any of these characters before. It's exclusive to this episode.
Though different, not much different reasoning, but different reasoning, or less strong reasoning. I'm with you. Bestie William gotta be my Squire. I mean, one important part that I don't think that you mentioned is that William can actually see what the fuck is going on and has like some power to help. Like love Alice down, and she's got like smarts on her side and stuff. But like,
and who knows after what's happening after the cliffhanger of this book, she might have something.
Right. I mean, Oathbound might be a whole different situation.
We might change opinions.
Yeah, but right now, the way that we've left it, I gotta go with William as my Squire, Alice as my page. Also, because like it would just be nice to be like minding your business, and then all of a sudden she got that Merlin device handy, and Um, and she be keeping that thing on her, like them guns and whatnot. And then Nick gotta go because he is not like not for the reasons that Porshèa said, but also like he has been a damsel. He is a damsel. Like I'm not trying to rescue you. I got my own shit to do.
Crocs.
He's still needing a rescue. I'm sorry. It's exhausting.
Yeah, I don't need him. What did Porshèa say? Banished from the pages of time, but he's definitely banished from my squad.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like I said. Not as same
Not that deep.
conclusion.
I do find, yeah, I'm like, I think maybe of the three of us, I might like him the most of the three of us, but also I feel like,
Don't
it's for
dislike.
itself. No, I don't know you don't dislike him. I'm just saying in terms of the like spectrum.
Yeah. I know, I think it's true. I'm
which,
just saying like it's the damsel quality, which is cute,
yeah.
We let everyone
That's
loves
cute.
Yeah.
Some people are into that. It's just I'm not one of those people, and
yeah, if we got stuff to do,
we got stuff to
I don't have
do.
time for that.
If this was a different story, and if Bree wasn't constantly running for her life, and there wasn't a demon king after her and Arthur's ass, like if I was just trying to be a hero, I could save you. It's cute, but I just it's like me when I was reading The Hunger Games, and I kept being like, Peeta, seriously, we don't have time. Well, I don't like the romance.
That's the original. Dang, yeah, Peeta was
the original damsel,
like,
and like
he was definitely
feel your feelings, my good sir, and I love it. We love a soft boy.
I honestly, so this is let's talk about Porshèa and her. The way that I read so many different main characters, and I'm just like, maybe it has to be a me thing. I just don't get romance for a lot of these characters. Like, I don't get why Katniss had to have a choice between the two. Neither choices felt like necessary nor like urgent. Like I don't know. It just, and like what I see. So like, why couldn't they just be friends or more?
Why couldn't they just be friends?
Like why does she have to be cishet? Because she could. So to me,
she was ace all the way.
And so was Wednesday
but also,
Addams.
Even if she was cishet, it just wasn't
series.
the time.
It was, but like
it wasn't.
And here's my thing. You're exactly the point.
She needed to choose her.
That's exactly the point that I like when I read a revolutionary like fantasy or whatever. If the romance is like one of those things where it's like very clear that it's going to happen right now because passions are running high and they just can't keep their hands off each other, fine. But that's not what the vibe was between Katniss and Gale, nor between Katniss and Peeta. So it all just felt more convoluted than poor Katniss actually needed.
I will say, like, because I read the book, I guess like last year. Dang, I would have said this year, but it was last year. In terms of the like, it definitely was like, I mean, they having their feelings hurt or whatever, but like, I feel like in terms of the pressure, it was mostly Gale.
Yeah,
It was on Gale's side and it was on the Capitol side. Like, it wasn't necessarily like she was feeling the pressure to, she was feeling the pressure to show romance with Peeta. And
yeah, but that was like for the
while also more feeling like, while also being like, having feelings for him, but not really knowing what those were, and also feeling like she couldn't process them because of the
trauma,
everything that was going on. And on top of that, they're trying to force her to be with him. So then she's like, I don't like, what is that? How do you process? But it felt more like Gale, honestly.
Gale felt like he was
I liked him more when I read him as a kid.
He was bearing on.
Oh yeah, Gale gave like nice guy energy that you didn't really get.
Yeah,
he was very, and I understand like in some ways, like, why he was feeling the way he was feeling, and also it was not Katniss's problem. So,
Yeah.
or it shouldn't have been Katniss's problem.
No, and it
But
honestly,
we should keep going.
sorry. So the point, the point that I was trying to make was Ace. I see Ace in so many different characters sometimes that I'm not sure if it's a rooted in me thing or so much fictionalization not actually coming out well thing. Because not only did I see it with Katniss, I also saw it with Wednesday Addams in the Netflix series. And I was validated by seeing other people being like, no, that she should be Ace because like this doesn't make any sense. And it was a similar kind of setup where they had a like false like relationship thing, like trying almost triangle thing happening, and it's like doesn't make any sense. She doesn't seem actually interested in neither of these guys. Like she does not at all. Like I don't know. So it might be a writing thing half the time, but I also feel like there's sometimes like it feels like the writers aren't picking up on the character that they've drafted and been like it's okay to leave them like to make them ace. And I feel like that is kind of like a shortcoming of like imagining
I mean,
for people when they're writing.
yeah. I do think like with the whole like Katniss thing, at least, it I feel like it also was like it didn't feel like I don't know, it didn't feel like romance to me, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Which I think was
Like, it
more of
felt
a
like in
it
the
was
end
more
she
of a
got with
consequence of the
Peeta,
world
but
building
it
in
was
my
more
opinion.
like, "You're here, this is my, like." It didn't feel like, oh, like, when he showed up at the end, it wasn't like she threw herself into his arms, it was like they had to, like, grow back into, or not back into, they had to grow into what, ended up happening, but I also, like, I mean, like, I'm not this isn't to say that I don't agree with what y'all are saying, because I do think that she wasn't, like,
I mean, my thing with this,
romance was
and we should
never
move
really
on, it
on
was
her
mostly that,
thing, but
like
we should definitely go. This is a tangent.
yeah, this is a
That
tangent, but it was mostly just my final Hunger Games thought. It was the consequences of her world building being so good and the way she set up the games and stuff being so good that it was like, y'all out here trying to survive, and then how much of it is put on for the cameras and how much of it is real. And then at the end, like, even if she was this head or whatever, she just should have been alone for a minute. Like, just, I know that they built back up or what. It's the trauma bonding part too. Like,
But you can
Mhm.
still trauma bond and be friends.
But also, even just because you're ace doesn't mean you don't then want
yeah,
Yeah.
companionship or end up getting
yeah.
companionship and,
Anyway,
eventually, like,
Platonic love is
speaking as
underrated.
folks with ace friends who have kids, like, you know what I mean, and are married, so there's
right.
it doesn't
Ace
have to mean that, like,
in long-term relationships. Now,
you yeah.
to get back to the point at hand, Nick
Yes.
is a damsel
Peeta
in the
was a
way that
damsel,
Peeta is a
and so is
damsel.
Nick.
But
And
also
so,
know that Wizard Team are advocates for more ace representation in
that
yeah.
part.
Yeah, all the time. Absolutely.
Root crafter. I am actually really mad about this one. This is your fault because, Bayana, because just in general, I just feel like Patricia should have been on here.
But she was
I
barely
guess
in
she's
this
not
book
really in the book,
compared to
but
the
still.
other. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's compared to the
but still.
folks who are really there.
Root crafters: Mariah, Lucille, Hazel, Squire, Page, Banish. Let's go. Let's do it. Can I do this
Okay, I
one
have to
really
actually think
easily?
about this one.
I got this one.
Sure.
Squiring Mariah, just also in terms of like generational stuff like that. Paging Hazel, because she's got that like homey, like she could throw down in the kitchen. She got that homey. She got the plants everywhere. She got that wraparound porch. And then I got to banish Lucille because she just seems like you piss her off and she goes scorch earth on you. She's scarier than Hazel that way, which like I want her on my side. And if she's on your side, that's awesome. But I want her on my side more than I want someone who is also strong, but can also make like cornbread and throw it out, like a full meal. I just, so that's why.
I mean, I assume Lucille can do that too, but
Mm-hmm.
I do kind of agree, like, thinking about it. I think Lucille is also, like,
No, Lucille
judgmental
said everybody got to get to work to
in
make
a way.
this food, and Hazel said supper's on.
I already had it together. Sure, but okay. Yeah, sure. That doesn't mean she couldn't do it if she wanted,
Yeah,
but yes, I understand. I feel like Lucille has this level of, like, judgment,
yeah,
that doesn't ultimately affect Bree, like, it doesn't, like, affect Bree negatively in the book, like, at the end of the day, she does what she can to support her, but I think there is that, like, level of that feels maybe not great for somebody that you want to, like, squire or
yeah,
page, so, really for that reason, but I like Lucy, like, I'm not, like,
yeah, exactly. I'm not
it's
happy to
not like
banish
a
her.
very strong it's not a strong, like, "Nah, she gotta
Yeah,
go," it's just, like, given the choices, I think. Yeah, and I
it's
think, yeah, Mariah Squire, because she's very,
you just want to spend more
I
time with
feel
her.
like
She's
Bree needs to listen to her more.
hmm
And not that Bree's, like not that Bree is uh, blowing her off or, like, but she just is not really processing what Mariah is telling her, um, which is how shit like her getting possessed by Arthur happens because she
yeah,
wasn't listening to Mariah, and Mariah's like, "You got your shit locked up or nah?"
That's also because
So
Bree doesn't like
yeah.
to plan. And it's like, girl, if you had simply spoken
Yeah.
to Alice mere seconds before you're like, I'm going to do this live, then possibly
Mhm.
we could be
hmm
where we are. But,
Or any of these crafters, like,
hindsight,
you know.
you know, we can only learn so many lessons.
I,
I also, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I hadn't weighed in, but if you have no.
I was just gonna say, in terms of like when Bayana saying like you don't want to banish Lucille, it's definitely like the Wesley Snipes like crying in the rain with a gun meme. It's not at all the way some of these next banishings are gonna be, but
Right.
you have to make the choice. Sorry, go ahead, Porshèa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna swap out. Like Hazel is gonna be my lead. She's gonna be my squire. Because
Mm.
I'm going to be in the house with a wraparound porch, hanging out most of my days.
I know that's right.
Um, I will be ignoring all things related to the order, and I know she will make sure that happens. And it's so funny to me that we have this set up for
Mhm.
Page, Squire, Vanish, when none of these folks would want to be a page nor Squire. They're like, excuse me,
Yeah,
why
Miss
can't
Hazel
we
be like, "What you
I
call
felt that way about making Valak Squire. I was like, he does not
he don't
care
want
about
me?"
that.
any of
They
this. In fact, he
He,
actively hates
he
it.
would rescind the invitation. He'd be like, I rescind this invitation. Please keep it to yourself.
Yeah, he'd be
I
like,
have
forget
no
this.
need nor want to be
An
tried.
oath.
Yeah, no, they all would be like,
He'd
"What
be
you
like,
call me? What you say to me?" But
literally.
Are you calling me the white man's words? For who? Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
absolutely not.
I thought you knew better, baby. Mm-mm. Don't come over here with that. And that's
Mhm.
exactly why Hazel would be because I could just hear her being like an auntie, a southern auntie, and being like, "Baby, Squire." Mm, well, it's a thought that's nice, I guess. Have some macaroni and cheese.
Right. Like, if you say so.
Yeah,
Have some more macaroni.
I appreciate that you care about me that way. Yeah, that's so sweet, baby. So yeah, Hazel, and then Mariah would be Paige, and Lucille is banished, like for all the reasons y'all said, but also because like again, like Lucille is anti so many things, even under like the root crafting.
Mhm.
So there's no way I would put her anywhere
Right.
near any of the order stuff. She's not even gonna try to be incognito. She
Mhm.
would be full blown. This all gotta come down. And I'm like, yeah, nah. So
Mhm.
yeah,
That is fair. That is very fair.
Real.
Um, all right. Now we get
Sorry for the
into
grand dame.
I know. And the other
the
note,
grand
I feel
dame.
the same. We're probably going to get there with some of these other characters coming up, but I also feel like for Lucille, between Lucille, Mariah, and Hazel, I feel like we have a better read on Hazel and Mariah than we do Lucille because she spends less time on page.
Mm,
And so hope maybe
true,
this will change. I doubt it, but maybe we'll learn more about
but
Lucille.
maybe.
That'll change up how we feel
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
I mean, she is the
I mean, I
grand
think
dame
that's,
of
like, kind of the
roots,
cool
so
thing. Yeah, I think it's kind of the cool thing when I was trying to like, when we were figuring out the groupings or whatever, like, I don't think any of these are the same as the Legend-born ones, but it's still interesting just to think, like, with new context and with new, like, stuff, like, how do you feel about these people?
yeah. Okay, now so hilariously, we were having trouble of who to banish. Now we're gonna have trouble with just like all
Which one
everybody
is
can go.
this?
This is the table.
Oh,
It's
dang,
like it's
yeah.
like a
This is gonna
sale.
be a
It's like
hard one.
everything can go. Like
Mhm.
how long keep nothing?
This one's hard for a
Clear
couple
out.
reasons, I
Clear it all
think.
out. Okay, so the table
Yeah.
is Lancelot, Merlin, and Morgaine. Why is this hard? For a couple of reasons, might be.
Well, I'd say it's hard because we don't see them a lot.
Yeah.
Like, we see, like, the memories or, like, it's just, as much as we see it, I think there's still a lot of mystery around them, especially Morgaine and Merlin.
Yeah.
Lancelot, I'm not convinced he matters enough, but maybe he actually, no, I'll take that back. He probably does. His relationship with Arthur probably matters a lot as it pertains to, like, Bree and Nick, so I'm sure there's maybe more to be seen there, but, um, that and also, like, it's not like we like the table, so
Yeah.
that it
Colors everything.
is yeah, um
Some quick commentary. It was so funny how just now when you set up that like pass to Bayana, it sounded like a sports commentary. It's like, so say what you what are the highlights, Bayana? And you're like, well, in the first half, they had us in the first half.
I'm sitting here with
They had us in the first half, not gonna lie. Um, yeah, I feel like especially with Merlin and Morgaine, it's like a lot of it is gonna be your theory on how their characterizations shape up, like what we will learn
yeah,
in the future. I can't really because I mean, I'm just gonna say right now, I'm basing my choices on like how I think it's gonna go,
mm,
versus like what I know for sure. But yeah, it's a difficult
yeah,
one.
okay, I feel like yeah, it's hard. Okay, I'm gonna squire Lancelot, but only because he's Lancelot. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
it just he that's his thing, but he'd be betraying people. He definitely
We have not
damn.
seen Guinevere yet, and
Okay.
that's where
We haven't seen Guinevere yet. I know. I'm like,
hmm.
interesting. Okay. Merlin, I feel like I just don't really I don't feel like Squire is the right thing for Merlin. I feel like Merlin has something not like not anti-table going on. Like, obviously I
Hmm.
think he's completely bought in and him and Arthur are like in general, like generally on an accord. That also makes me not really want to Squire him. But I also feel like he's got some other things. There's more to him, but I don't know if that I trust it. So I'm gonna page him, just like, like keep your enemy kind of close type thing. I'm not sure. It makes me
Hmm.
uneasy. Um Morgaine. Now I'm back and forth about Morgaine and Lancelot, honestly. Uh hmm. Morgaine was kind of when she was talking about using the Shadow King's power. That was a little. But then her descendants also were like, "Fuck the order," so maybe I don't know, I don't really trust her either.
It's not easy.
It's not. Okay, I'm gonna banish her. I'm gonna squire Lancelot just because for now it feels like he's the most loyal. Whether or not I
To Arthur.
like what his personality or what, you know what I mean? Like of the three, he feels like he's the most loyal, so I'm gonna squire him. Merlin, Paige, Morgaine, banish. For now. I kind of want to do this one again once we read Oathbound.
I am going to also squire Lancelot because of the, like, I'm assuming that his loyalty, he is loyal. I'm assuming that his loyalty would be to me if I am putting myself as a self-insert for Bree, and Bree is Arthur. Like, we've already seen that, like, he can disagree with Arthur, but, like, follow instructions. So, like, even if he disagrees with Bree or my, because I also agree with Bree in this, like, desire to burn the shit down, like, he would still take my orders as king.
Do it, yeah. I'll also say, like, it's not like I'm dating anybody. I don't care if he gets with whoever. I don't.
Right.
Sure, fine.
Sure.
That's not a betrayal I'm worried about.
And even if I was, it's not a betrayal that I feel like is because of my aceness. I'd be like, I mean, do what you gotta do.
You know, and I think also you need somebody who's with you on the battlefield. The other stuff we talking about, we fighting
practice.
somebody, enemies.
Right. I am going to Paige Morgaine, and this is where I'm coming up with the, like, this is based on, like, my theory of where we're going versus, like, what we actually know. Just because what the V Morgaine, capital T, capital M, said to Arthur, Bree in the end of the book, and how the Order did her dirty. I took a different view of the memory of her with the crown and being like, you can harness it. Like, I just think that she's got a different idea about how to use the power, not like abuse the power. And I just kind of am like, if it's between a man and a woman, I'm going to go with the woman, that in terms of and that she has a power set that, like, would be useful. And then I'm banishing Merlin because, one, the motherfucker's too powerful. This spell of eternity and all that nonsense, like, too much. And I just don't really trust. I don't really trust him. I'm trying to decide whether, in terms of, like, Oathbound and, like, the rest of where these books, the story is going, I'm trying to decide whether he's actually against Arthur and a little bit more like he was a little bit more realistic or less extreme, but just was, you know, or like realized that Arthur ain't shit, or he's actually worse than Arthur, and he's like, girl from Amari and the Night Brother, what was her name? Harlow, where he's just like puppet mastering behind the scenes. And because those are my two different theories and they're, like, so separate, he gotta go. I just can't.
You can't call it.
I can't call it. If I can't call it, you just gotta go. It's just it's too uncomfortable. I'm in a very much in a, like, I don't know. If I get betrayed by Morgaine, well, like, okay. But yeah. That's me.
Off top, I'm actually banishing Lancelot because
that's fair.
I don't trust the line that Lancelot sires, and I don't know what that indicates about him and what we've seen of him. Sure, he'll say he's like that song My Band from D12 where it's like I'm gonna say something to him, and then someone says, "Hey, like, go on to say something to him," and then he's like, "Nah, like, you know, it's whatever, it's cool." to Eminem, and I feel like that's Lancelot's, like, that's the energy I got from Lancelot. Is like, I'm gonna say something. He says something to him, and then Arthur's like, "But it's whatever," and he's like, "Yeah, it's whatever." Like, he just goes along with it. And I'm like, that's not the kind of person. I don't need a yes man. That's not the energy I need. I need someone who's like, you know what? I see you on this, but I don't see you on that. That's where you got me effed up. Either clarify or let's figure something else out. Let's like don't let it go. That's an aspect of William's personality that I really appreciate, and Lancelot got it. And someone who's gonna
See, and I would totally be with you on that if the other choices were not Merlin and
I
Morgan.
hear you. Here, I'll get to my other reasoning in a second.
Because that part of Lancelot was why I made him my squire, because the other choices.
Yeah.
He's not gonna stand on nothing, but like, he's not really a threat. He's a yes man.
I don't know. So Lancelot for me, I don't need that energy, because like for me, if someone is yes manning me, I feel like there's an ulterior motive that I'm not clear about that you have for why you want to be in proximity to me and yesing what I guess until something is like looking up for you. I feel like it's a come up situation. I don't want to be helping you on your shady come up because you're hiding something with all your yeses, and I don't trust it. So that's how I feel about Lancelot. Merlin, as mastermind magic weaver of the order, it's very clear with how little we see him being central to the actual like round table and other things, that he's got something else going on while Arthur and the round table are doing stuff. And I can only conject or just like project in my mind that has something interrelated with the shadow realm and the demons, and him being either part demon or full whatever, like that has to be playing a role in this. And so because I want to keep an eye on what Merlin is doing, but also so like he feels like he needs to check in with me so I have some level of like understanding of what he's doing, but also I don't want him so close that he and I are he's catching enough of my movements either. I'm gonna make him a page.
Mm-hmm.
And then Morgaine, again, though we know you very little, for me, I was looking at the stats again because it's been a minute because I've been trying not to think about the stats too much. Morgaine could very well be the 53% MAGA white woman voters.
Yep.
Could very well be like, I'm in here for like here's what I'm saying I want to happen. I want there to be a revolution. For me, revolution looks just like everything else that's already happened, but I just want some different people's faces on it. That's who Morgaine could be. Or she could be like the 45% of white women who voted for Harris and are now talking about like, and this happens every time they want to show that they're good white women. It's talking about like having a blue bracelet and showing how much she actually is a safe white woman to be around. She doesn't want to be lumped in with her red sisters. And neither option is a trustworthy position. However, as Squire, I know that if she's talking about being part of a revolution and changing things, I will have, and she has a power set that is similar to Merlin's, but not quite the same. Then for me, that feels like something that is a check that I can use to check Merlin and play them against each other until I figure out what's going on with either Merlin or with Morgaine. And so that's why I want to keep them close and Morgaine closest so I can figure out what the F is going on. I am
Can I just
a
say
detective of magic and I will find out what's happening.
Can I just say, you know what I heard as you were going through that explanation?
Mm-hmm.
That Porshèa turned this into the would you rather be attacked by a man or a bear, and said, give me the bear. But like the bear is Morgaine and the man is Merlin. Like no good choices around, but give me the bear.
I'm gonna figure out my advantage in a situation and try to use it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the thing too. That was part of it. Like, I remember this going around whenever the man and bear thing was going around TikTok. that was a follow-up question that like was asked for Black folks was like, would you rather be in a conference room with a white man or a white woman?
Or white woman, and all
And
the Black women were like, give me the man.
And all the white women were like, oh, like clutching their pearls. And that's the reason. Are you the 50?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're the 45, you're still probably trifling. So now I just gotta be thoughtful about how I position you to be able to have power over me. And I'm gonna keep a close eye
And
on that.
access.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. I'm not saying I don't get it. I just hilarious. Okay.
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 Delaying the inevitable.
Villains.
The true answer is they can all
None of the above. The true answer is I
that's
abstain.
the real
I'm going it
answer.
alone. Which Squire, Paige banish, Sestra, Erebus, or Arthur?
Okay. So I gotta banish Arthur. Like
Yeah.
fuck him. Period. I don't need him anywhere near me. I don't really wanna no. Erebus. I do not like him. I'm really afraid of what is going to happen with Bree in Oathbound as it pertains to him. However,
he be on his
he
shit.
is a strategist. He is like he's a long-term thinker. He is petty as fuck.
And
he
he's
holds
powerful.
a grudge. And he's powerful. So he got a Squire. Like, I don't
see? You see it?
And Sestra can be a page. She don't have no upward mobility. You know? She can stay right there where she's at. And keep an eye on her because I know she's gonna try to do something shifty, but I got Erebus with me, so I'm good.
And because I'm the same, I'm right there with you. And also I feel like Erebus dislikes Sestra more than I do. So even if he is evil or whatever, he ain't gonna let her get on the come up. He gonna keep her in check. So I can spend more time. It was like Porshèa said, like, keep your enemies close. But I can spend more. I can have Erebus closer to me, but I can also spend more time monitoring and being on the lookout for Erebus shenanigans because I know that no matter what Sestra got going on, Erebus got that because he's not gonna let her succeed. He's not gonna let her win. So yeah, I'm right there with you. Same. And also I just like the thought of being in the vicinity of Arthur and having to hear him speak, breathe.
Yuck.
No. Cannot. So
this is interesting. This is because to me, you banish Arthur, you cut out the whole setup. Like everyone dies because the round table is no longer existing. So everyone.
Well, it's not even about all that. It's literally like yes, but you banish him. He's not dead.
Yeah.
I mean, he is dead, but you know what I mean.
He's still doing what he's doing, just not near you.
I'm trying to consider. No matter what, Erebus is Squire because he's Shadow King. That's a whole power set we haven't really seen. The only explanation we've really gotten for Shadow King is that one, he moves within shadows. Two, he has a crown that he doesn't know where it's stored, but we know that the original Roundtable folks, Merlin, Arthur, all of them, they knew where it was stored. And then three, that because he's a demon and also king of demons, the body he's inhabiting is probably like I guess like either he intercept like he's pulling a Billy Maximoff if you watched Agatha all along. Like he's basically like taking over a vessel, basically. So that's all we really know about the Shadow King right now, and we know that he can astral project out of that whatever body he's using as Erebus to show himself a Shadow King whenever he wants to, right? Um, we don't know the full measure of his powers without a crown or with a crown.
No.
The fact that he's been immortal and around while everyone else has had to have like awakenings, so he has actually like inhabited the world. He's like a vampire. He knows.
Mm-hmm.
He has the
Yeah.
history. He's lived it. He's been moving like the hunter, the great devourer. All the demons are scared of him. None of them really know his face, as far as we can tell. They don't really know like all the details. So I think there's a level of like just being able to be interconnected and interwoven in whatever he has going on. No way you can control him. He's chaos incarnate. There's no way you're going to be able to control him. But you're going to be able to pick up on things as a magic user that you would not find out by just trying to use magic in the way that the order uses it or the way that the root crafters use it. So that makes him useful in that way. Is he how much closely is he going to guard his secrets? We don't know. Do you have to be a demon in order to take advantage of his magic, of his powers? I doubt it. I feel like I don't, or like there's going to be something like workaround we're going to see with the crown. But yeah, there's some interesting things going on with Erebus that definitely merits him like to be in the squire position. I really just want Sestra to die.
That's, and you would not be wrong.
She empowered Tor. And anything that makes a racist feel more justified to be racist, we gotta squash that immediately. I just don't have time for you to be winding up people in my presence. Absolutely not.
But they're the same family, so I think that's just that's their
absolutely not. She had Tor over here feeding herself.
Not as an excuse, but like as another reason.
Right. Like I don't need that energy in my inner circle. I already got Erebus doing who knows what behind my back.
Right.
I don't need
True.
that to be freaking out about on the side. Bye. Arthur isn't a better choice, but of the choices, him again and knowing where people are. Now that we know Arthur's stuck in reliving the same like a Groundhog Day of different memories, I feel like you can use that to your advantage. And I don't want to hear Arthur ever again. However, it's like I'm taking it to because what his Groundhog Day memories reminds me of, besides the sunken place, is Animorphs, when the villains are like these like aliens that can like take over your body and like your mind, and you're kind of sitting in a space within your mind basically while they're living your life in front of you. I feel like
Animorphs is dark.
Yeah,
what the hell?
It's mad dark. So that's how having your body mind taken over, and so like that's what Arthur honestly has reminded me of this whole time. And so knowing how the Animorphs deal with their antagonists, these aliens who take over the mind, I'm only so concerned about Arthur because honestly, that's Arthur's problem, is that he is a white man who's supposed to be the most powerful person in the room, quote unquote, who is essentially powerless. And he's grasping for power in any way that he can. But in grasping for power, he's making things so much worse. And I think that's an allegory for a lot of the things that we've been going through. But knowing the way that the Animorphs deal with their villains, I'm only so concerned about Arthur, and that's why I'm fine with him being the page.
I get it.
That's fair.
Fair. All right. That was Squire Page Banish.
And I'll put these up on Instagram.
Yeah, we'd love to hear
maybe Tumblr. I feel like it was hard to put them up on Tumblr last time, but maybe not. Maybe it was a different game. So, yeah.
But Can't wait to see y'all's choices, especially on the villain one, because neither is I mean, I actually feel like the table one was harder than the villain one, but either way.
Yeah.
Here on Wizard Team, it's no surprise that we love books. We also love supporting the independent bookstores.
With our bookshop affiliate link, you can not only get all the books on your TBR, but you can support indie bookstores and B&C at the same time.
And if you're not sure what you want, that ain't no problem. Check out our The Plot Thickens list full of recommendations from none other than Porshèa herself.
Head to www.bookshop.org/shop/BlackNerdsCreate to treat your shelves.
Treat your shelves.
Oh, that's nice. That's clever.
Oh my goodness.
That's clever. Are you loving our commentary on Black fantasy stories and want to hear thoughts on more classic tales? Tolkien Black Folks is a hashtag and podcast where you can find all kinds of Black nerdy discussions about Middle-earth. Check out previous episodes on the BNC Presents podcast feed, and if you're a Black Tolkien fan, make sure to use the hashtag during Season 2 of The Rings of Power.
So now we go on to our favorite game, Would You Rather? Did you come up with all of these, B? Bayana's
Maybe.
benched.
Dang. That's crazy.
You just tweeted something about your writing, and I was like, this is why you need to be stopped. I think I actually told you to take a nap, and you told me no. But if y'all ever wanted to know, like, the kind of stories Bayana comes up with and what it's like in her head, these Would You Rather questions. It's like a little mini glimpse into the twisted world of her angst.
I was trying to make them good.
Angst is what she said. Tension. Would you rather make an unregulated deal with a demon or allow an ancient ancestor to possess your body for 24 hours? Because I feel like a regulated deal with a demon would have sufficed. Would have also been a hard choice. But you said unregulated, which means they gonna fuck you up. You're gonna lose. And I'm gonna say, even though I know I got some ancient ancestors up in this DNA that ain't shit, ain't never been shit, ain't never gonna be shit, I'd rather have them possess me for 24 hours than an unregulated deal with a demon. Because at least it's 24 hours and then they're gone. I can handle a lot of stuff for a day. I cannot handle the consequences of an unregulated deal with a demon for the rest of my life, and probably beyond, because I don't doubt that they'd be able to like follow me into the next plane.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
deal.
I guess then the only question is like, is it a benevolent ancestor, and how much damage are they gonna do? Like, how will you be able to come back and salvage
what they've done?
This one reminds me of that question people have been asking about, like, if they wanna fight Batman once a year for 10 years or the Powerpuff Girls every day for a year. And everybody's like,
You're
Batman.
an idiot if you say Powerpuff Girls. An idiot. They
Don't nobody
told
want to fight Powerpuff Girls.
Mojo Jojo while he was already in prison.
Literally,
Nope.
he was already in jail and they jumped him
His
again.
brain
Like,
matter
nah.
was spattered on his cell block. Like, what? For what reason?
Splattered out. No. You don't want smoke with the Powerpuff Girls.
And you don't want one. You don't even want a pinky on you from one of the Powerpuff Girls, because that pinky will do damage.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, I think I'd probably choose the ancestors as well. Ancestor possession.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if it was like a month, 2 weeks, you know what I mean? Like something like that. Like, I feel like even if they did damage possessing my body for 24 hours, like, especially depending on how ancient they are, it's going to take them that long to figure out, like, cars and shit. They're not gonna. I don't have a landline. Do they even know what the phone is? They go by the time they walk their ass over to like start some shit with somebody. 24 hours gonna be over.
Arthur was calling the cars beasts. Those mechanical beasts.
And he been waking up every couple of years, so he at least got to check in on like. Excuse me. He's at least got to check in on some improvements. Right.
Bree's the first time he was fully like.
That's true.
Like, yeah, he wasn't able to possess them before.
But yeah. It's still got to be the ancestor.
Same reasoning for ancestor for like the timing. I also think that like I would hope that if you're possessing my body, like I don't like this question for a lot of different reasons. Primary reason is like the lack of like personal agency, like how it just strips away agency from you, like the deal, and also like having someone else take over your body. However, the one consideration I can give to having my body being possessed, especially by an ancestor, is that they know I am the like latest version of their bloodline, and so you would hope, at the very minimum, they wouldn't want to be doing anything that would like harm their like the last of their line or whatever, a bit like on Earth.
You might have Arthur in your bloodline though, so think about it. They may not care.
I'm saying one would hope. I would hope if it's an ancient ancestor, I'm hoping it's one of the black ones, but also one of the black ones could be one of the ones who was like the littlest, the brush of any kind of offense it's on. Like, did you just step into my personal space?
You step on my white shoes.
Like, I already have a problem with that as a modern day me, let alone an ancestry is like, oh no, we don't do that around here. That's rights for a tussle. What can I do with that? I just hope to wake up and my body not be bloody, like not have, that's all I can hope for. Or imprisoned. Those are the two things I can hope for.
Right.
Wait, no, I ain't think about that.
Like, hopefully my ancestor is like,
my ancestor could put me in prison for a long ass
I'm thinking
time.
about that. I'm also thinking about my ancestor eating just any old thing because they didn't used to have certain things, and I wake up and my whole digestion is messed up because they were like, I'm eating all the cake, I'm eating the bread, I'm eating the
like
Chinese food, all types of stuff, and I'm like, dang, now I can't eat anything.
But those consequences are like a couple of, at the most, maybe a month, as opposed to unregulated.
For what?
For your ancestor
eating. But that's like 6 months. That's at least 6 months.
Damn, but still.
Because remember when I
when you were going crazy,
6 months. So
hey, you know what?
And that was an accident. So if they
figure that out,
I'm just saying,
if they figure that out, they're like, I'm gonna do a smorgasbord because I don't have to care about the consequences. That's my descendants' problem, not mine. Ha ha. Like,
or not realize the consequences, right?
They don't gotta live with it.
Like it could be intentional or it could be unintentional. Like we didn't used to
way,
have
the
this
consequences
kind of
are
stuff.
still there.
I'm imagining if you're in the back of their mind saying, no, please don't. You that bad? Like,
don't stop, put it down. They're just eating all types of ice cream and like no, I'd be done, over with. God forbid they eat shrimp.
That's true. See, I don't got none of them allergies that is going unless they roll around in the forest. They're romping and rolling and all up in the grass. But even then, it's like I'm gonna be uncomfortable. But I'm gonna take a oatmeal bath and lather myself in some of that purple, that pink lotion, and and I'll be okay. I was also thinking because I said, they could get me and put in prison, but the switch up between being possessed by my ancestor going back to me, I'm pleading reason of insanity. Like, I might have done that shit.
Look, this is kind of normal,
but I was possessed.
This is a random day. Like, let me just tell you. But this is my thing. Here's my thing. Here's another thing. I'm left-handed. You're also left-handed, Robyn. I feel like my main thing is as long as I don't get an ancestor who pops up and they're trying to use my body and they realize like,
and they call you a witch,
they marked me
themselves.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Like, oh, she's
My
got to be
descendant is a demon. Drown her. Witchcraft.
Or like, because I was thinking like, oh crap, what if they like somehow get into like, because like the biggest like killer of left-handed folks is like misuse of like things that are built for right-handed folks. So initially my thought was like, what if they like for some reason are like near a chainsaw for like during that 24-hour period, and then like they use it incorrectly. Now I'm missing a limb because when I come back to you. But I'm like, no, even worse than that. What if they're like, homegirl is left-handed? Oh no. Mm-mm. Off with her head. Instead of off with an arm, off with her head. Like she's gotta go.
I think that what's so funny about
We're
that
so
too,
unserious.
what's so funny about that is like you think about all of the like new fandangled technologies and like advancements and shit, and then like it would be like you get possessed by the ancestor who was actually born in like Britain and like cannot understand that we drive on the left side and get hit by a car.
Oh God.
I just like remember my mom when we were in London, and like it just became like a family thing of like me, my dad, and my brother just snatching her by the neck because she could not get the like look both ways correctly. Like she was just looking the opposite way, so she'd look this way and then be like, oh, it's safe, and we'd be like, no, other way. It would be something like real.
And it don't take much for your life to get gone.
It don't take much.
It don't take too much.
Yeah.
Or they think the like the crosswalk, like the stop is for the cars. And then,
what my true wish would be if I had an ancestor take me over, and I know we need to move on. My true desire would be that my ancestor be at least a little bit like me and be like overwhelmed. But as soon as they walk outside, because I live in New York City, like they walk outside and you're like, oh heck to the no, absolutely not, and they just walk back inside and hang out in my apartment the rest of the day. I'm like that.
I feel like if the ancestor was anything like me, where you're like, oh, I could tell that y'all come from y'all got the same DNA, it would be the same thing. I was out this morning to watch a soccer game, and as soon as it clicked final, I said, all right, bye. And my brother's friend was like, you're leaving? And I said, you got me out the house. Celebrate the win. Take the W. Bye. Back in the house. So yeah, I would hope that like if they would have an affinity for me and be like, I'm staying in.
Like I'm like as soon as they walk outside, the first off, like figuring out my apartment would be one thing because there's so much like tech and random stuff here. Then they'd be like, okay. They walk outside, cars everywhere, all this the loud industrial noises, like oh heck to the no, nope, back where I came. And that's exactly. I just please let the introversion that I be an inheritance and turn them into a agoraphobe for the day. That's all I want.
It's the safest way to be. Okay, so this is a bonus question because I've been thinking about this. What power or like gift or benefit would you want that would make you think about having an unregulated deal with a demon? Or it could even be regulated. I feel like the regulated deals are scary too. But like what thing would you be like, I'm not trying to make no deals with demons, but if I can get this in exchange, I might. I have two. One is really silly, and I feel bad about it, but I also know myself. And that is go back in time, have it happen now, an NSYNC something reunion where I'm also like a part of it. Like I'm friends. I'm actually dating JC. Like I'm in the inner circle, but we get back together. We make an album. We go on tour. I know it's dumb. I know it's not smart, but I feel like
what would be the ultimate plot twist if JC was the demon.
Woo! Did you see the dumb? I hate this because it made me chuckle, but also I really hope that it was just a joke where people were like, you know, we like, what made you not think we wouldn't vote for Trump? Because, you know, we love a morally gray hero or whatever. And I was like, he's just gray. Or
He's
morally
not.
orange. I don't know.
He's just.
He's not.
He's not.
Yeah.
He's
Not
on
the
the
one you lust
spectrum
after.
of like
Right.
moral greatness.
Yeah. He's not. There's no grayness.
He's not on either of those paths.
Yeah. There's no gray there. It's very black and white. But that time I made a deal with the demon and fell in love with the demon. In sync edition.
That's hilarious.
I know it's dumb or trivial or superficial.
So if it's something, I'm trying to think, because I'm like, there's nothing I would actually like in real life be making a demon, like a deal with the demon for. But if I could think of something that's just like silly,
be Beyonce's best friend,
or you know, not silly but like frivolous, I would.
Michael Jackson.
I would want to see Michael Jackson in concert, and I would want guaranteed tickets to any Beyonce concerts. I don't have to worry about Ticketmaster and all that bullshit.
On
front
stage,
row.
like
I'm not trying to be on stage, but I want the best seats.
I want to be close enough that she could see if I held up a sign and she could read it.
And I don't want nobody around me who is annoying.
No. Yeah.
Or just
only
nobody.
only like a
just
full
a perfect
10/10 concert experience, guaranteed tickets.
Yes.
Yeah.
I enjoy,
and somewhere to sit. That's important.
I enjoy how many cultures have this like bargaining for a wish kind of like aspect of like the craftings. I feel it's like this is the same rules as face, same rules as a genie kind of situation. And I know my answer for a genie, but I don't know that it applies here. And that's where I'm trying to think of a frivolous.
Try it anyway.
No, because my genie one is like, my genie one is very much a work around like the 3 things kind of thing. And I would only need one, and that one would be to wish to have access to magic in this world, basically, and then like unfettered access to magic in this world. And so I could make my own wishes come true, and maybe that would or would not be good, but that would be my ask. Frivolous thing, I don't know.
I feel like that would work with the demon. I feel like the consequences of that one, though.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it's different with a genie kind of situation than it would be for a demon one.
Yeah. I feel like the consequence of me joining, I don't know, being in Sync's like tour manager or something, just being in their communications director, and then also dating JC and the I feel like the demon will be like, this is dumb, but you know, I'll just shave a couple months off, like, because this ain't, I mean,
I think I know what my frivolous one would be, because
I feel like yours, they would be like, oh, we gonna have to do the first child, firstborn, first.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think it would be a good one. My frivolous one would be if I had the ability to just kind of like pack up my life in a suitcase and then take it with me wherever I want to go. So like I wouldn't have to be like in one location and have to unpack and repack it all. I could just like put it away in a suitcase, and then when I'm ready to like my next destination or whatever, wherever that is in the world or universe, I'd be like, okay, and then here it is again.
You want a TARDIS?
Yeah.
You want a TARDIS with your whole life, and
yeah, that's a good one.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, teleportation. Not having to sit through a commute. That'd be a good one.
I would like, I mean, teleportation, sure, but like kind of a mixture of both of yours, of like having just like a universal visa, because I want to leave this place, but I was like looking, I'm not trying to leave, I'm not trying to become an expat and still pay taxes, or like I don't have that kind of money. I don't want to be like super rich. I don't, you know. that's not what
I think that's the
wish
real.
is.
I think that's the real wish. Is the real desire is to not be beholden to the capitalist system as it's currently set up.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
and then I want to be able to pack up and go, like, and then be like, okay, well, not this one. I'll go somewhere else and find a place that I feel content and not terrified of, but also just move again because I want to, because I felt like it. And take my demon ass dog with me without, you know, a bunch of hassle, because I can't move out of this country or off of this continent. I can't move off this continent until Luna perishes, because I can't put her in a plane because my anxiety won't take it. That's very important. I don't know.
We should
okay.
speed up a little.
So, would you rather get on Valak's bad side or duel one of the regents? Wait a second. Can I choose which regent?
I'd rather duel a regent.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing about Valak's bad side. It's like so far we've seen it for Cell, and I don't think he's like. I feel like Valak is like unserious. Like he has like the worker who betrayed him. That's a different kind of bad side than the bad side we see with Cell. And if I'm in a level of like bad side with a Valak that is similar to Cell's, I'm okay with that because I feel like I can maneuver my way from like being on his bad side. If he sees me the same way he sees Cell. If it's like the worker who betrayed him, that's a whole other level of Valak's bad side, and I don't want to see any of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd still duel a regent either way because I feel like I don't want to be on Valak's bad side, even if the bad side is just like not taking me seriously. But the regent I would choose is why do I want to say Abernathy? That's not that man's name. Is that man's name? That's not that man's name. The head regent in charge.
Aldrich.
Not Sestra. Aldrich. Thank you. Not Sestra, not the other one. Aldrich, because I just feel like he don't know his way around. I mean, I don't think Sestra does either.
But Aldrich is gonna be quick to be in his mate like a mage. Like he's gonna have.
But I think we're just dueling the one though.
That's what you say, but that's how they move. It's like you think they're gonna be like, oh yeah, this is a fair fight. I'm not gonna call in freaking Tacticus. Of course they're gonna call in Tacticus.
Well, no, because I'm not gonna.
They're not gonna fight fair.
I mean, but it's 1-on-1. I think we can just like it's 1-on-1. It's not.
Yeah, I'm gonna chop that man in his throat so fast he's not gonna know what hit him, and then I'm gonna keep it pushing. And I would rather that than be on Valak's. Even if I'm on Valak's bad side in a way that he's just laughing at me and thinks that I'm dumb. I don't want that either. Like in the Cell way, but I do think he like. Do you know how when they say like cats look at humans as if they're just really dumb cats? Like you're just really bad at this, and so it's not like it's like a disdain. I think that's really how Valak like. Not even like a pitying disdain. It's more pity than animosity, and I feel like that is how Valak sees Cell, and even that I wouldn't want. Like, I don't know. I would rather him like
I feel like I just don't want to be on Valak's bad side.
Yeah.
I only want to be friends.
Yeah,
I feel like that's changeable.
And whether that's, and I think I think what we saw with Cell, like obviously Cell survived. He got through it, but there's like a level of like, it's the same with Erebus. There's like a level of like pettiness and like, I'm going to like, you may fear for your life, but I'm not even hitting your life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even want that. I want like you to be massively embarrassed or massively like exposed or whatever. You know what I mean? I think that there's just like a level of, there's just a level there that I'm like, no thanks. But I would see Sestra outside.
Sestra.
She deserves it.
And I don't even fight, but I would see Sestra outside.
She does deserve it. Would you rather blood walk through your ancestors' memories or summon them for advice? Personally, and I'm just thinking about like my immediate ancestors, I'd rather blood walk through their memories because a lot of them they be lying. And I found out a lot of stuff that I didn't know after the fact.
No, that's
they
so
was
real.
lying.
You don't even be knowing their real names.
I don't even know their names.
Whole time they went by their middle name. Their actual first name is Dinah. You have no idea.
Whole time Bethy's name is Capita. How dare you? Capita? And we ain't call you a Cap or something. I called you Bethy my whole life. Bethy. Your name is Capita? Please. Please. Also, that's some Oklahoman shit. What the fuck is a Capita? Anyway, I got a blood walk. I don't know them people. I don't trust them people. And then their advice would.
And that's the thing about advice. Anytime you're getting advice from someone, you know that like their experience through life is different than yours because you're two different people, two different pathways through life. What you might think is pertinent for what happened to you during your time on Earth doesn't mean it's also pertinent to me on my time on Earth. So I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I feel like Bloodwalk is like the
right. Like I'm not printing out copies of my resume and taking it to the mall.
No,
like we're not doing.
Oh
that
my
anymore.
gosh,
that's done.
Whenever, and that's not even like a 1900s kind of.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's not even.
That's an immediate. Like that's people who still alive telling me. They're like, "Girl, what?" I remember whenever I first graduated, people were like, "Why don't you just cold call?" Like cold call, like answer those phone anyway. So I think that like for Bloodwalk for me, I know there's a level of trauma in that, but I'm like, unfortunately, in the modern era, I've watched many traumatic thing, and I think that I could take the same level of like detachment that I do for like watching traumatic things into the Blood Rock. Not saying that I won't come out of it traumatized. I'm saying I could endure what I do see during the Blood Walk in that moment and then have to work through it later. And I have a therapist, so I think we can figure that out. But listening to it, I don't. Here's the other thing about me. As a fire sign, don't tell me what to do.
Just don't tell me
That's
what
so
to
real.
do.
Don't tell me what to do.
That's so real.
I'm not a fire sign.
I hate it so much.
Of my ancestors, don't tell me.
I don't care who you are. You could be.
No, it really doesn't matter who it is.
I really love you so much. I can trust you. You tell me what you think I should be doing. Automatically, I'm gonna look at you like you're crazy.
Do the opposite.
I'm not gonna do the opposite.
And I think there is something to be said about like solicited advice versus unsolicited. Like if I am asking for feedback or for whatever, like I want that. But generally, and it can be stuff that I was gonna do anyway.
Exactly.
But if I'm told something I was gonna do anyway, it makes me want to do it less.
Yeah. If it's something I was gonna do anyway,
just like
either I'm gonna delay doing it. Thank you, you're welcome. Now I'm gonna delay doing it, or I'm gonna do it, but you're never gonna know that I did it because F you for thinking you can tell me what to do. You better not ever think you can tell me what to do. Nope. No one has that power over me. No one.
Y'all are hilarious. I get it though.
It's so illogical, but I feel it so hard. I remember when I realized that like, oh, I don't like people telling me what to do. Because I didn't really realize it as a kid too much, but I think also because you're a kid, so there's a level of like authority, like people are your parents telling you what to do. But then I kind of realized
a lot of them telling you what to do
because
you don't know what to do. But
right, and like and I often ask, you know what I mean. Again, I am not adverse to advice.
Also, I'm not belligerent.
And it's also like the way that you tell me. If you're like, you know what you need to do, no, because I don't need to do nothing. Actually, that's where you're wrong. And it could still be good advice. And I might follow it. I'm just gonna take some time first.
And be petty about it too. and be upset.
I'm gonna wait.
And then be upset. Even if you were gonna do it anyway. Now I'm upset because you sullied it.
Yep.
I'm like, it's absolutely already gonna do it. Like that's the petty part. But for me, sometimes it'll be like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this under consideration. But we'll see. I'm not gonna tell you nothing if I do it. I think the other part for me is that like I don't like as an overachiever and a like a kid who was pretty good at like obeying within my own reasoning of like if I want to obey a thing straightforwardly or not kind of thing. I've never been averse to instructions. There's a difference between telling me what to do,
yeah,
like authoritatively, like like you do this, this, and that, and giving me instructions. Like I'm not gonna like I'm
yeah.
gonna follow instructions, especially if I can like see the reasoning behind the instructions. What I'm not gonna do is let you tell me, oh, you should have did this X, Y, and Z. Like, girl, especially if you're like you haven't been through the experience, you just think that you have a better view on my life than I do. That's where we're all gonna be effed up. That's where you're gonna like you should be lucky. You should
No,
count
it's
your
so
stars
real.
that I did
It's
not
so
punch you in the
real.
face for you telling me what to do about my life.
Hilarious. I mean, I get it as well,
No.
also and as well. Like, I'm not saying I don't understand the impulse, but like,
It's definitely one of those things that I also recognize because sometimes there'll be moments where I'm like, "Why do" like, sometimes it's not
Mm-hmm.
conscious. It's like it's a reaction. Sometimes it's conscious and I'm, like, being actively like, "No, I'm not doing that." But other times I have to figure out, like, "Why did that hit me wrong?"
Yeah.
And then, like, it'll take me a minute. I'm like, "Oh, it's because you was telling me what to do. I'm good. Like, you can't do that. Like, don't tell me what to do."
That's,
Like, and it can even be, like, really small, like, not even a big
yeah.
deal. But I'll just be like, "I don't know why that hit me wrong because it's not a big deal." And
It,
then later I'm like, "Oh,
it hits like anger.
it's
Why am I angry? Where
yeah,
did this anger
yeah,
come from? Like what is that?
yeah."
yes.
Where were we though? Because we definitely
Okay. So we were
Oh, the
on Would
blood
You
walk.
Rather
Oh,
Blood
yeah, I
Walk.
think we all
Would
chose blood
you
walk.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did. Because our ancestors be lying and we don't trust their advice. Be on the run with this one. No, I'm just skipping it. Would you rather I'm skipping it.
No,
I'm skipping it.
no, no, do it.
Be on the run with Dud Davis or stuck at the lodge with Tor. What is wrong with you?
You know what I'd rather do? I'd rather be at the lodge because why would I be outside? Where am I going?
You know what?
I'd rather be on the run with Dud Davis, to be honest,
Yeah.
because at least he's gonna have like we're gonna be at like hotels and stuff. I can go like take a dip in the pool. There's gonna be a hotel bar. I'm gonna need it.
Here's the thing about me
He's
being
gonna
on the run.
he's gonna be footing the bill so that mini bar will be open and used. Shit. Because if I'm going to have to be stuck in close quarters with Dud Davis or Tor, I'm gonna need some alcohol and some room service, bitch.
That's real.
And I'm not paying for it. So I would rather be on the run.
That's legit. I feel like for me, the thing about me being like I would choose being on the run with Dead, even though I despise both of these characters. I would choose being on the run with
Yeah,
Dead because like
they're horrible.
yeah, you can take advantage of his money, sure. I'm gonna figure out ways to sabotage him because just for fun. Like leave Legos near his bed so he wakes up.
Little things.
Like I was gonna make
Steal the
life.
cap off his travel
Yeah.
toothpaste.
You
I'm
know,
gonna, I'm
sometimes you
gonna
got to.
Parent Trap Meredith Blake this man until he's insane. So
Yeah.
I can then walk away in the night chuckling to myself about how I just made his life miserable. That's what I would do to Jed Davis.
Love it.
No, I like that.
That's
But no, I only chose Tor because I like don't want to be traveling.
You're not going outside.
Like I could just no.
She said, outside. Why they do that at?
No thanks.
Okay. Final one. Would you rather make an oath or a bargain? I have questions about this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm making a bargain with the demon or with my ancestors. Can I choose who I'm making the bargain with?
Either way there's consequences,
Yes, I
so
know, but can I choose who I'm making the bargain with?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah. It's open-ended. It's I mean, you're choosing who you're making. It doesn't necessarily mean you're making an oath to the order. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm. Okay.
it's just which one would you
I would rather make a
be
bargain
more
than make an oath. I feel like I would make a bargain. I would make it temporary. I'm not binding myself or oathing myself into perpetuity.
mm-hmm.
And if I decide that I'm going to break the bargain, I'm coming into that with like eyes open of what the consequences are. Not that they don't know that with an oath, but like I don't know. It just feels it. I can't oath myself to something, and I don't really know what the future is, but I can make a bargain because it feels more in my control. I guess. It does. It may not make sense, but it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like a bargain, it's easier to it feels more equal in some ways. It might not be, depending on like who you're making it with and how you're doing it or whatever, but it can be. Whereas like an oath is usually more of like a fealty thing.
Yeah.
Or um like you're oathing to a thing. And I guess you can do like mutual oaths, but yeah.
I hear you both. Here's my workaround. I'd be making an oath to myself. I would be like, God's my witness. Arya
Real.
Starkin. Here's my oath to myself. Here's my hit list. I will knock all
That's
these
real.
efforts out. So help me. Thank you. Thank you, me. Love you, me. Here we go. Yeah, we got this.
She said, "Thank you, me." That's real. All right, that was Would You Rather. Thank God.
It took longer. I always feel like, oh, we don't have enough things, and then it's like, no,
We like to
we have
philosophize
thoughts.
about
we like
So
to we like to really get
yeah,
into the consequences of it. We got questions and need
yeah.
answers.
So first, I know Robyn wanted to do some like blood marked final thoughts before we get into our like oathbound theories and thoughts.
Yeah, I just wanted to like acknowledge a few things. Like one, I think that like I think when I read Legendborn, I was very much like excited about what it meant for the future of, or like how this series was going to play out, and like that we had a new series that I knew I was going to be interested in, that the writing was good. I was much more excited about like what was to come, and I think after Bloodmarked, I feel much more trepidatious about what's to come. Excitement is in there, but the tension is much higher. I think that like overall I enjoyed, and we kind of talked about this at the very, very beginning when we first started, but I enjoyed how much Bloodmarked opened up the world, and we got outside of UNC, and we got outside of like the lodge, and we got to see more of both the Rootcrafter world and like what happens after you're in the, or you're still in the order, I guess, but like what happens after you're of like age. But
mhm.
also I think that we got a glimpse into like demons, and like through Erebus, but also through like Kizia and stuff like that I think and hope we'll get even more of, because I'm assuming that Erebus is going to take Bree into the Shadow Realm.
Mm.
It's an assumption, but like I feel like that would happen. Um, and I just think that like, so I think my favorite part of Bloodmarked, well, I had like two highlights of like the book, two like sections that were really highlights for me, was when we went into the lodge, when we first met Valak, not the lodge, the lounge, where we first met Valak, and
Mhm.
then we like, that was a glimpse of like the wider magical community, but also like more like demons and sorcerers and like all of that stuff. And then when we got to Volition and like the deepness of root crafting, and how I think Porshèa made this point when Bree like cut off her ancestral stream, that like she can still use root, and she can still like ask from the ancestors that are not like in her line. Um, but also just like that sense of protection, and finding it in like middle of nowhere Georgia. I don't know if it was middle of nowhere, but that's what it felt like when reading it. And so it made me a little bit more optimistic that like, even though it feels like Bree is alone right now, like there are ancestors and she can tap into root. Um, and so she will have some protection that way. And I think that at the end of reading Bloodmarked, even though it feels much more tense and somehow the stakes feel even higher, and like I felt like that's the dumbest damn decision ever, because I have a better sense of the whole world and the richness of the world that Tracy's built. I feel like that I feel a little bit more hopeful that Bree will find help and have backup even when she's at her, like, she feels like she's most alone and, like, cut off. So, that's my final thoughts. I think it was a really great book on its own, and I think that
Mhm.
it makes me really excited for, like, what's to come. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. I think this is I don't remember if we I feel like it may have been said, but definitely the book that made me feel like Legendborn on its own, I was like, I like it a lot. I have like I'm curious about what's coming next, but what comes next will kind of determine how I feel about the series. And I think that Bloodmark definitely like made it so I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely a series that I love and am like excited about and I want to see more of and all of that. So yeah.
I have no fresh thoughts to offer about Bloodmarked besides the fact that, in comparison to Legendborn, I did rate it higher and did appreciate it more because we had to spend more time with the Black folks, less time spent with the Order of the Rose, the white folks upholding the white folk
Mhm.
things, the better. So while I know they're a necessary evil, if we can minimize the times we have to see the Order within the rest of the series, the happier I'll be. The more time spent with the Black and Root work,
Mhm.
the more I'll probably enjoy the rest of the series that rolls out.
So yes, I wanted to read the Oathbound blurb just to give us a little like I guess refresher of what is sort of what kind of what was coming. It doesn't tell you that much, but okay, so it reads severed from the Legendborn, oathbound to a monster. Bree Matthews is alone. She exiled herself from the Legendborn Order, cut her ancestral connections, and turned away from the friends who can't understand the impossible cost of her powers. This is the only way to keep herself and those she loves safe. But Bree's decision has come with a terrible price, an unbreakable bargain with the Shadow King himself, a shapeshifter who can move between humanity, the demon underworld, and the Legendborn secret society. In exchange for training to wield her unprecedented abilities, Bree has put her future in the Shadow King's hands and unwittingly bound herself to do his bidding as his new protege. Meanwhile, the other scions must face war with their round table fractured, leaderless, and missing its king's mage, as Selwyn has also disappeared. When Nick is detained by the Order's Merlins, he invokes an ancient law that requires the High Council of Regents to convene at the Northern Keep and grant him an audience. No one knows what he will demand of them or what secrets he has kept hidden from the table. As a string of mysterious kidnappings escalates and Merlins are found dead, it becomes clear that no matter how hard Bree runs from who she is, the past will always find her. I'm scared. Um,
High Order of Regents. We need more of these guys.
I assume it's the same people. The High
High
Council of Regents. I
Council.
think it's the same people.
I
I think
feel,
it's them. I think it's the
but
same people.
it feels like there's more of an audience or
So
something.
he's
Like
just.
it feels like there's something more than just a regular. Like I feel like if it was, I don't know. It feels like it might be
I.
more
Just,
than what we've
I think
seen
that's
so
what they're
far. I
called.
hear you. I wonder if, but I'm saying if he's calling an like, I feels like there's gonna be more people spectating besides just the regents.
Oh, sure. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And he's like detained by the Merlins. Like, what does that mean?
I mean,
So the one question I think I've had is whether we're gonna get Nick's point of view. Um, because Bree is so like
side
or
quest.
maybe not Nick, maybe somebody else who's like around, you know what I mean? Could be Alice or could be William or somebody, you know what I mean? Or if there's just gonna be multiple point of views, um, because Bree is so separate. Um, or is she gonna be around and they're just not gonna know she's there? You know what I mean? If she's rocking with the Shadow King and he's obviously he has not his identity has not been exposed. I assume when Nick calls the High Council of Regents, that includes him. And so maybe he's able to, like, make it so Bree is, like yeah, so, like, maybe Bree is around and doesn't and just can't, like say you know what I mean? I don't know. We have, what, 4 more months to figure it out. Yeah, and she has to do his bidding, so it's like, what is that?
The fact that he's, like, supposedly training her, he's wanted access to her root magic this whole time. I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest. Like, not that I'm looking forward to the next book in the series. I'm not looking forward to the drudgery of what I know is going to be Bree's life with someone who um, covets her power, who has because they've never had access to her power before. We just saw that with Arthur, and I'm not interested in seeing it happen again. So, yeah.
Real.
But then also, like, I want to know what Cell's doing and what him and his
Yeah.
mom are up to, and I don't want it to end up being like a
Mhm.
info dump at the end. I want to be there with him because I'm gonna miss my baby. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping that will be multiple perspectives and like different points of view. But also, I don't know how I feel about book series that do that, where it's like one book is like, or two books are written one way and then it switches.
Switches. I think sometimes it
Yeah.
works. I feel like not that I don't care, because that's not really what I'm trying to say. I do, like, I would I mean,
If it's done well, it's gonna be done
prefer
well.
whatever. I think whatever Tracy writes, she'll write it how it she'll write the story how it needs to be written.
Yeah.
So I'm not like I don't think if I open it and it's like Selwyn, you know what I mean? It's not that I'm gonna be disappointed, right? Like, it is what it is. But I do think that I'm most interested in Bree's, like, story. But it also doesn't seem like there's a decentering of her in this,
Yeah.
at least in the synopsis. You know what I mean? I don't think that will ever happen. So I do think that, yeah, either way. But I'm just curious how those things will be woven in if she is, like, isolated.
Yeah.
And the world just kinda keeps getting bigger, so it's like I could see the need to make the perspectives, um, to add that to make the world a little more easier to like, just to show everything. Cool. What do y'all think about 'cause I think this kinda goes also into Cell, like, Erebus or the Shadow King's relationship with, Natasha Kane, and, like, whether that will be something that gets explored more.
I mean, I think Natasha Kane as Erebus's Boothang. That's what I think. But possibly also her father and/or I don't know. It's gross, but
Oh,
like
yikes. Not and/or.
I
Not
just
I
read
also
this.
wonder
Targaryen.
if
Listen, I just read a Fae
right.
story where like the Fae are long lived, and so like the one like she just keeps marrying in her family like her descendants, so she has control of like the family. Um, so she'd be their grandmother, or she'll be like their great 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 grandmother and their wife at the same time, and it's
Yikes.
creepy because she's full Fae, and so she's not immortal because they can be murdered or they can long lived. I guess is the right way of saying that. They can die, but you got to kill them.
That's a lot of immortals, though. Vampires are also immortal, but you can kill them.
Oh, okay, well then immortal. Erebus has that capability, right? He's been like body hopping and whatever, so I feel like, or maybe not like
Mhm.
her. I think that he is her boo thing, but has also been like tracking her, or, like in her life.
Mm.
Um,
Mhm.
and we're gonna
Yeah,
see
I'd
like
highly
enough of
doubt
that.
that the root crafters are the only people that he's been, like, coveting their power or their
Like
alliance or allegiance, I mean.
inserting himself in
Um
that.
Mhm.
I just don't see. I don't know a lot about Natasha Kane. What I do know about Natasha Kane especially for her to have secreted herself away from the Order's reaches, I feel like it just doesn't feel like a strategic advantage to be in a relationship of sexual nature with Erebus.
But I don't know if she knows him as Erebus, is what I'm saying.
Because I was also wondering if Erebus is like
she has demon
was her
blood, and she
homie,
can
and
tell
then he took over the body. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's also possible
like
that
he's her
like
mentor or whatever.
the Erebus she knew.
I don't.
Well, like how what's his name? What was his name from the first one?
Roz.
Evan or whatever. Like that
Evan
wasn't him. That
Cooper.
was Raz. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's also possible that she knew Erebus and they grew up together. And and then
the Demon King did what he had
the
to
Demon
do.
King was like, "Let me
snatch him up." Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Yeah, I'm saying that like maybe she does know. She thinks of Erebus or new Erebus, non-demon Erebus. But I'm saying that like the Shadow King has been in her orbit and in her world, whether she knew about it or not. The same way that like he's been checking in on Bree's family, he's been checking up on the Canes.
I just have questions because I feel like Natasha Kane, for her to be savvy enough to stay out of the hold of the Order, she has to have a level of magic craft, especially if she's been staying out of the way of the Order and not succumbing fully to demonhood, which would make her unable to manage herself.
mm-hmm.
She has a level of power that I don't think would allow her to be completely ignorant about Erebus's true nature. And I don't think that Erebus
Mm-hmm.
is like sneaky and like stealthy as he is and has become over times of being stealthy. He's been being semi stealthy around people who are not looking for him to act a certain kind of way, like the regents and the
Mm-hmm.
Order and all that. I feel like Natasha is too steeped in demonhood to not recognize when Erebus is moved. Like the way that he popped in, popped out with Cell. If Natasha's not like in a 100-mile radius of wherever they were in Georgia, that's gonna be like that has to be Shadow King moves. Like it can't. That would not make sense for him to just have
Right, be an Erebus
or like a
move.
ballot.
Well, I don't know that
Mm-hmm.
he even. I was assuming he'd pulled a Dumbledore or a Hagrid, Harry Potter knocked on the door and left that little demon on the doorstep in November winter and said, "You got it, ding dong bitch style." So
But who knows?
I don't know.
She would still be able to
There's a
recognize
lot.
that it was
There's a
Erebus because who else knows where she is to drop off her son? You know what I mean? I just feel like
yeah. There's a lot
we'll
we
find out.
have to figure out. We
But
have to
so
find out. Yeah.
and this is all
Yeah.
speculation. But this is me thinking
Yeah.
that for me the clues that we have about Natasha, and there are very few, but from what I've picked up on the clues that we have about Natasha, she feels like a savvy enough person to at least, if she doesn't know outright the true nature of who Erebus is probably clued in that there's more than meets the eye, and I'm interested
Mm-hmm.
in seeing how that plays out, especially given that whenever the conversation happened for Brie to be like, "I know you know where Natasha is, take or Natasha, I know you know where she is, take her son to her," and Erebus to be like, "She's not gonna like this," basically. Um, for him to have that knowledge about how she feels about this whole situation, um sure they could have been friends in the back end, but that him to have the present day information of where she is currently, that lady is not sitting down and got a house somewhere and is just in one location all the time for him to know where she is. She's been on the move. So for him to know where she is at any given point in time, and that not if he's under the guise of Erebus and knowing that, and not the Shadow King, that intimates that they have a close enough relationship where they've been in constant contact, even though from how how he spoke, it seemed like he didn't want to be. It's not close enough where she's going to be happy to see him.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she probably knows that he's Shadow King because of the way that he just basically teleported back, and then again, knows where she is no matter where she moves. Like that feels more Shadow King knowledge than it does like an Erebus knowledge, and there's no way she's not gonna like clock that. Especially like I don't,
Mhm.
she's not sending a telegram or something to him every time she moves somewhere. So I just think that's my thought. I wonder about how she feels like a savvy person. How much of that savviness is tied to her either being like like already like Erebus or like Shadow King told her who he is, or she figured it out,
Mm-hmm.
or she's on her way to figuring it out.
Mhm. Word. Anyone have any theories about Merlin?
I think that Merlin has some thoughts that Arthur ain't shit, and like whether or not he was a part of the plan and like knows that Arthur started the war with the Shadowborn to gain power or whatever. I'm not 100% sure of whether he was a part of that plan from the beginning, but I think that he has something to be able to defeat Arthur. And like he
Mm.
knew that man, that king, whatever, would go too far and needed to be stopped, and put like some contingencies in place. And whether or not he had a come to Jesus moment or just was like, while I agree with um the spirit, I don't think he's trustworthy, and so I want to have some ways to curtail his power. And I think that will come to light. I haven't decided like where he stands, if that makes him like a good guy or not. I don't think it makes him. I don't think anything can make him a
Right.
good guy, but like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't
checks and balances
I don't
is huge.
remember what it was, but it's something that Bayana said whenever on one of the episodes where we were talking about Merlin that made me consider like how far reaching his like ability to see in the future is, and or if he's a
Mm.
time traveler. And I I'm with you, Robin, on like how like his motives and things for how the order runs and what he's done with Arthur and him like knowing that like Arthur's truest nature. I think that's part of like the reveal of like how why things are structured the way they are and like what he had to do with it, and also where those ideas came from, because I'm guessing as it
Mhm.
does in real life, a lot of times people will snatch things from other cultures and then be like, "This is ours," and you're like,
Mm.
So I have a feeling that's kind of part of the story. But I think for me, the thing that's interesting about Merlin is he still alive? That's my is he immortal? Is he hiding
Mm.
there? Is he
Mhm.
like is he part of the Shadow Court? Is he actually is that the truest answer to who Erebus Shadow King is? Is that he's Merlin and they
Right. They do say, like, old friend,
yeah,
like, they do know each other
and like it's
in
just a
some
different
sense.
guy, like I'm saying. So like there's
Yeah,
different guises. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
So and he's a tricky guy. Like both
Interesting.
people can be, multiple things can be true at once. So we'll see what happens.
Mhm. Yeah.
you have
I feel
thoughts?
like I have questions. Yeah, just about his, like just who he is and what his because I feel like a lot of there's been so much about, again, Arthur. Arthur's gotten so much smoke, and it's like, if Merlin was truly 10 toes down with everything Arthur was doing and was like, "Yeah, we gotta," he did create the oath, so he deserves some smoke for the like, his role in that, but then I'm just curious what his own, like, personal, motives are, and, also what his relationship with the Demon King is. We don't know who his daddy is. That's also a thought.
Ooh,
It could be all of the Merlins and all of the well, not all the Merlins, but at least all the Mage Guard. Or not Mage Guard. Yeah, no, Merlins, because
maybe,
not all the
yeah,
Cambions, but at least all the Merlins have some kind of if they all have Merlin's blood, then they would all have the Demon
yeah.
King's blood, maybe. That could be interesting. Yeah, just questions about what the ramifications of his actions are, past, like, the Order's kind of makeup and, pomp and circumstance. So, yeah, I'm curious. I'm very curious about him. I feel like I haven't been too curious about him reading it on my own or even just reading Legendborn, I kind of like merge him and Arthur together. But this time reading Bloodmarked for Wizard Team, I was just like, what's up with him? Like he's just around, but he's not really like
he got too much
going
power
on
to
with him.
be so incognito and in the back, taking such a back seat.
Yeah, just like in the background and like, but then also like, is that how Arthur sees him? He's kind of always in the background, always working, always doing like what he's told, but like what is he actually thinking?
Yeah.
Um so yeah. Um and then we've talked about Alice. We talked about her a lot last episode. But any thoughts about like what she's gonna when she does wake up, like what that's gonna look like?
Homegirl got power. I think it will probably start to fold in some other mythologies, maybe, or other not like
Mm,
magic from another culture. And I think that
mhm,
she's gonna have a much bigger role to play in um what I'm calling Team Save-A-Brie. I think she's gonna be the I think the cavalry will be like her and Valak and William and possibly Phil, but I think she will be kind of running the show.
mm,
She'll be the Samira kind um of Bree's rescue.
mm.
Yeah, Alice, I just want to see what happens. Hopefully it's tied to it with I feel like a lot of our what I'm picking up on Alice feels like WandaVision with the way that I'm remembering the actress's name and not the actual character name. Spectra,
Talk about
how
Monica.
it gets her power basically. Like through transmission from another person who was like actually known to be a magical being, or the way
Mhm.
that I had another example. Right now, my brain is whatever. Um, I just it feels like that's like I think we talked about this before. That feels like the storyline, and I don't really like that. I don't like it when I've seen it in the properties, and I don't like that for Alice. Um, I would hope that whatever is happening with Alice is not something that we've seen before, because I want there to be a wild card, and I think she makes a really good wild card.
Wow. I mean, I feel like I do though out like with all of these like what ifs really trust Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bloodmark gave me that like level of like I really trust that you've got a handle on this story beyond like, what we were expecting. So exciting.
Okay, really quick before we do MVP and benched and then head out. Just theories because we have 2 more books. So, like a
Yeah.
couple other thoughts. Do you think Bree will ever unite the table?
No.
And do you want that to happen?
No. I would maybe at the
Agreed,
most she
honestly.
brings the table together and they think she's about to unite them, but then she turns on the boombox and Not Like Us starts playing and she just crip walks all over them and it's like fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
That's funny. Yeah. No, I don't think she ever will. I think there will be moments. I think there'll definitely be parts of like, there are she does have friends in the order and like as part of the scions or whatever, the actual Legendborn that I feel like will definitely have her back, but I don't know that will ever be the thing.
I feel like for as long as Tor exists, the table
Right, that too.
uniting under her cannot happen. It can't, like, it has to be the full table, and Tori's gonna always be resistant. There's no, I don't think anyone can talk Tor into actually aligning with Bree, even if it's for the greater good. And proves me wrong. And maybe it's a story about a racist turning right, at least a a broken clock being right once. I don't see it for the girl, but it could be what we're getting. So, but I do think that, like, if we, I do like stories whenever you were given an idea or a foreshadowing, like, thought of like what has to happen, and it happens, but not in a way that anyone could have ever anticipated. And so and then everyone has to like react to that change and expectation. Because the thing is met to the letter, but not to the spirit, basically.
Final question. Will the order endure under all the forces looking to take it out? I hope not.
I hope not. I feel like if we want to keep it like for real, I feel like some semblance of the order will climb out of that, and it'll be like smaller or different than what it was. But I feel like the order is a symbol of all of these kind of oppressive systems, and what we've seen a lot of times is that they don't die, they just morph. Um, and I don't know how hopeful Tracy is, but I know how I've been feeling lately, and I just think that, like, if she's really hopeful and optimistic, that it might not survive, but if she's writing a little bit more grounded, it'll morph. You'll see like Thestra claw herself out of the hole that the ancestors tried to dump her in, and her and Tacitus go off and start some small shit that will hopefully not, but might grow into something else, morph into something else.
I just love that for someone who's as averse to horror mythos, like you literally were just like describing her clawing herself out of like a dirt pit grave, and then like her hand popping out and just like starting like a whole horse.
And then she goes, very thriller.
I also don't know what the order endures, but I do think that that's the right way to like. There's no way you can get rid of a thing like Hydra thing. I just think it's. I don't know that it's Sestra. Like for me, it feels like the order slash a table is the water source stream, and there's so many tributaries off of it, including like the vassals and like how like many of them there are, that like it might be a watered down version that exists later, but there's gonna be a version, or because there's too many things that are interwoven and connected across the globe for taking out, like, even like the round table families. It's still, there's still so much more that can endure without them being part of the structure. So I feel like that's going to make it harder for that to really fully be excised as a institution.
Yeah, not to mention all the like generational wealth. Do you think, sort of an offshoot, that they will figure out how to end the lines though?
Yeah, I think the lines are going to be done.
Yeah, me too.
I think there's so many people, the Morganes, Nick, to an extent, Bree. I've not seen Bree say I want to end Arthur because I think she's scared. She doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
But I can maybe that choice will be taken from her. Shadow King doesn't want.
I also kind of feel like I feel like she wants. I don't think she wants to keep the lines. Like I don't think she's ever wanted it.
Yeah.
So I could see her, as
If
long
there
as they
was a
can
way
figure
for
out
them
how to
to
do it
end killing her, she would be
without
up
her
for
dying. I think she would definitely.
I will say though, I think that I think I said this before. I have a theory that there will be a way in which Erebus, or the Shadow King, eats her power and keeps her alive. Not, I don't know if he's gonna purposefully do that, but I feel like that might be one way in which the lines die, and maybe Alice is the one that brings her back. Like, she's on death's doorstep, and then she gets brought back by William or Alice, or I don't know, but the power, the blood mark is gone. And I think that's how the lines. I do think the lines will end, but I think Bree will live.
Mm-hmm.
They'll find another way. So,
all right.
Let's get to getting.
So real MVPs of the books. This is interesting because we had a lot of like the MVPs were kind of spread out, and so they're really close. Whereas like the benched, it was a very like most of the votes went to one person and then kind of trickled from there, if that makes sense. So there's also like not that many votes in
Should
terms
we
of
have a
wizards.
runoff?
In terms of nah. I'm saying in terms of MVP, and in terms of MVP, it's not like any of the MVPs got hella votes, if that makes sense. In comparison,
there's a
to
wider
the
margin
person who
of
got
difference
benched.
between the different contenders for villain than there are for the ones who are for MVP, or I mean for bench than there are for
Yeah,
MVP.
they also like the person who won benched got more votes for benched than the person who won MVP got votes for MVP. Is kind of what I'm so I was also kind of surprised, but our MVP, or no, we're going third place, going backwards. So third place was tied between Alice and
Look at
Valak.
Valak making it that far up.
um
He's only
I
70
know they
papers.
both
He
got
didn't even show up till part
16.
2. Look at him.
I know. That's because literally every chapter he was in, we were like MVP. So yeah, so they both tied for 16 points, and then second place was Bree at
Just Big Bree.
17.
She only made it.
And then first place was William with 18. So you see, it was just literally like, and then Cell was fourth place, or I don't know if that's fifth place because there was a tie, but he had 14. So they were all really like close. That whole little squad plus Valak got a lot of love. Whereas for benched, and I thought about breaking it down, but I just was like, I don't really feel like it. It was all of them. So third place was 20. So already more than any of the people who got MVP in terms of votes, and it was the regents. And then second place was Arthur with 26, and first place was Erebus / the Demon King for 37. So he like got hella, but it's again, he was benched as Erebus, he was benched as the Hunter, he was benched as the Demon King or the Shadow King. He was, you know what I mean? He got all his monikers. He was benched as part of the Regents too. So all of the every single version of him got a bench.
Love it. But you know what that tells me too, though, is that like our heroes, our MVPs, like Bree did a lot of shit where we were saying like I wanted to make her the MVP, but I couldn't, right? And then there must have been like some more there. It was like a wider selection of MVPs too, but like the people who suck just really know they suck and they stay consistent.
Yeah.
Consistently suck. And I appreciate
and I think
that,
the
clarity of that.
Yeah. I think the other thing too for bench in terms of like why Arthur didn't make first place is because there was always like, I think Erebus or the Shadow King, whatever, he was more present even when he wasn't around.
Yeah.
He was like a constant presence, whereas like Arthur was kind of like only around when Bree called for him. He was there, but it wasn't like Legendborn where it was like Arthur is a very like he's present even though he's not around. I think, which is interesting.
I feel like that makes sense though, because we're learning more about Bree's root in this book and how deep it goes. And like Arthur sucks and he is a part of that, but like Erebus's role in not just Bree's life, but in her entire line, is much more, like you said, present. He's much more present in it. Like he shows up for a few of those a few of Bree's ancestors, and like Arthur has been dormant the whole time. Like they don't even know. I mean, Bree doesn't even know like that Arthur is in play until he makes himself known at the very end of Legendborn, and like Jesse knows the Hunter, and they know the Great Devourer and stuff like that. They've been running from that dude, so it makes sense. I just want to say, I love William, and I think that he deserves to have won this book because he, even though he's not like, it's not his story, he's not like the hero. He, again, consistency. He's consistently there, like making. I want to say he consistently makes good decisions. He makes the best of bad decisions. Like he just like he's even keeled. Like I don't know. There's like the ways in which Bree would like give the bench away. I mean, like, or the MVP away. Like she'd
or give the MVP away.
she'd have the MVP in her hands, and then she'd be like, you know what? Let me go just do some shit on my own. Let me just go past this ward without telling anyone. Let me whatever. And like William is just, again, consistency is key. Like,
not you saying that William is like an embodiment of the tortoise versus the hare kind of situation, like Fable.
Yeah, because I was not expecting him to win. Like I just forgot that he had gotten MVP that much. So as I was tallying it up, I was like, oh, okay. Like, you know what I mean? I wasn't really sure. I thought Cell might win, honestly.
There are so many times though in which William,
I wasn't sure, but like I just felt like but I feel like Cell is, I think last time for Legendborn, I think I checked, and like he was like 4th place for
both, right?
I'm pretty sure he was 4th. Oh, no. He got 2nd place for MVP. That's hilarious.
But wasn't he like,
but he was like 4th place for benched.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really close for benched. And for benched, in this one, he's 4th place. So he's 4th place for MVP and for benched. Which I think
the thing is, too, is what I'm like, a lot of Williams MVPs come from you being like, Bree had it or Cell had it, and then they did something stupid, but William was there being steady, following instructions, doing his job,
and like, just like keeping
the both of them from like making it even worse. You know what I mean? Like, it is definitely
saving their lives multiple times.
It is definitely the tortoise and the hare.
Question of personal interest. Where were the ancestors in the MVP? Were they even close to the top?
They got ancestors. They got 9 votes, which is pretty high. Hold up. So right after Cell.
I feel like they started racking up votes while we were at Volition, and it just wasn't enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so 5th place, like after Cell.
Who do you think will be in the hunt?
Who in the running for be America's Next Top Model?
Yeah, for Oathbound. Do you think Cell will continue his reign in like the top 5 of best and worst? Do you think we'll have like
Probably.
Do you think I'm not sure if Erebus will run away with it. I think that he might not redeem. Redeem is not what I'm saying, but like he might.
Yeah.
Surprise him.
Yeah, he might just like be so like he does like a 360 where he's so
360
toxically bad that he
terrible that we stan.
Yeah. 180 then, I guess. He just like,
Yeah, not 360. Yeah. Where you're like, no, he sucks, but you know what? Fair play.
It's the whole thing.
It's possible. I got close when he was having that conversation with Arthur. I got close to being like, nah, I'm but it was just, then he was like, oh yeah, I'm
eater.
Saving Bree or using her or whatever. And I was like, yeah, no, because you're against Bree, I can't really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time,
well, what I'm thinking
if it wasn't Bree being affected, you might be making some points.
Have you seen the conversation around Gavin Newsom right now, where people are like, "This is why we need Gavin Newsom because he's evil, but he's our kind of evil, like, or he sucks, but he's on our side," type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if Erebus can figure out a way to save Bree but still eat that power, which I think is what's going to happen, I feel like he might become an anti-hero or whatever. Like he might end up where he still sucks, but at least he's like,
I don't
he's
see
using
him
his evil.
eating Black people's power, making him any more, like, making him lovable.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll have that
Lovable.
redemption. I
I'm
think
not
we will
saying that.
definitely have
I think
moments.
it'll be like a not, and I'm not saying he's gonna be redeemed. I'm gonna say like he's gonna be evil, but it will somehow benefit Bree.
I don't think Bree
He'll
having
turn his
her
evil-
Black powers taken from her is gonna be good for Bree.
She's not gonna die, which is right now the thing.
You're
both
concerned.
the.
I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see. I don't know.
I mean,
I'm
don't know
sure
how
there
it's
will be
gonna
a moment
happen.
where he reads Sestra or something, and I'm gonna be like that. But I feel like I don't know that it will stop him from being benched.
I don't think that he'll ever get an MVP. I'm just saying I think that I could see a way in which someone else takes like right now as it ends. I think like if things kept going the way that they go, there's no one else who would lose or who would get the bench, who would claim the bench but him. And I feel like I can foresee a way in which he loses his hold on the bench because of
someone else being
the
trash.
order. Yeah, someone else just like stepping into that.
I foresee
and
Merlin getting some votes finally, separate from Arthur.
Yeah,
because I feel like in Legendborn,
on his own,
all the votes he got it was him and Arthur. So, and I think he maybe got like one vote from someone this time. So I'm curious. I wonder what he's gonna get. I feel like Ava is gonna be annoying.
That's the Morgaine.
So she might get some she might get some benches.
I think that Tor is gonna get dealt with hopefully early, and it's gonna be very, very, very satisfying.
I feel like the Morgaines are way too interesting as a vibe for Ava to initially get early benches, only because I hear you, because she is moving in a way that's anti-Bree, but only because Bree is a container vessel for Arthur. And
yeah, I know. I don't think she'll get early benches. I think I'm curious about the Morgaines in general, but I also feel like they didn't seem, and we'll see, obviously, because it was like a really brief situation, but like the nuance didn't feel like it was there. And maybe she won't be enough to get benched because again, it's a lot of people, so who knows what will also happen while we're you know what I mean? Somebody else might, but I could just see her being annoying.
Yeah.
And that's just a vibe. I don't know that that's true. I might be like, no, I actually mess with her.
Yeah.
But
she came in hot for sure. I'm excited, but also I feel like I'm more excited that William got MVP than I am that Erebus was benched. I just love him. But also I feel like Valak might like surge. Valak and Alice. I feel like Alice could win Oathbound. Or Valak if he has if he's still, around. And I know that she said we'll get more Valak. He's not. We will see him, but like if he becomes a part of I don't know, if he just like steps up his presence a little bit more, especially just because of who we are as like co-hosts, it is very much if Valak's name appears.
Valak supremacy. We believe in Valak supremacy.
Like, even if he's not around as much, we'll be like, we will be inflating.
Yeah, we will be inflating the vote.
Absolutely.
Like, is there bias? Duh.
Yeah, because he literally was not there. The fact that he's up there with folks who were literally in the entire book is hilarious.
He's only like really in one section.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with it. I feel no remorse. Feel proud even. So
yeah. So thank everyone for listening. We'll be on hiatus for the rest of the year. Yay for us, 2024. It's been a long year. It's been a tiring year. Everyone needs rest. We're gonna take some rest. Please, you also take some rest. We'll be back in the new year, 2025. To discuss Amari and the Despicable Wonders. We have all read it already, so we already know how that conversation is going to go, at least partially. It's going to be fun.
Maybe Austin, you will pay for your
you will
crimes.
pay for your crimes.
You have notice. He's on notice. Oathbound. We have not read that. That is not available for us to read yet. So we will be speculating until we get there. And please join us in that speculation as we just did in this episode. And then there will be more. And we already have some. We already know some of them more. So and we know that you're probably going to be interested in it. So hopefully you'll join us for all of those things, and many more things that we have up our sleeves.
Yes. Wizard Team is a part of the Black Nerds Crate Collective. So if you would like to keep up with our content, you can check out our website at blacknerdscrate.com. You can follow us on Instagram and Tumblr at Wizard Team Pod and at Black Nerds Create. And you can not just follow us, but reach out if you're reading something awesome. We want to hear about it. If you are going back and reading Bloodmarked and you have thoughts, let us know, because we are Hive over here, so always want to hear. And we'll see you next year.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.